Right, Wits University today announced South Africa's first COVID-19 vaccine trial. The first participant will be enrolled tomorrow. It comes as South Africa has breached 100,000 in terms of COVID-19 cases. To discuss, we're joined by Professor Martin Veller, who is the Dean of the Faculty Health Sciences at Wits University. Professor, thank you so much for being with us. Is this an exciting day for you and for Wits and for South Africa?
Well, Francis, good evening. Yes, absolutely. Exciting, not only for the university, but obviously for the whole of the African continent, as that this is the first trial that is going to happen within the African continent, and clearly is an important step in trying to find some form of effective intervention against the coronavirus.
So this has obviously been in the making, this vaccine. Has there been a lot of secrecy around it?
Well, certainly the vaccine is not, as you know, developed in South Africa. It's been developed at the Oxford University at the Jenner Institute there. All of these are generally going to be done under relatively careful intellectual guidance. The fact is, however, is that there are many people working on vaccines, and this is one candidate in over 250 that are currently being evaluated across the world.
Yeah. So this is South Africa's participation. Some would say, why are we testing a UK vaccine? Just tell us how it all works and the collaboration with the Bill Gates Foundation as well.
So the Bill Gates Foundation is important in terms of the funding for this vaccine. But the most important aspect is that vaccines have to be tested across the world to ensure that all populations have an effect or find these vaccines effective. The important aspect about it is that the researchers within our faculty are experienced in this field. In particular, Shabir Mahdi's unit at the Chris Hani Baragwanath Hospital has been well established as being in the research environment for vaccines, particularly in neonates and so on, but they have a worldwide reputation, and I'm not surprised that they were asked to be taking part in this study.
Yeah. So South Africa not producing the vaccine, but Wits itself overseeing South Africa's first vaccine trial.
Yes, absolutely. So the vaccine is produced by the Oxford University trial unit, but we obviously applying it in this country and using the established research units to do so. And as I indicated, people who are great experts and worldwide recognized across the world for being experts in this field are doing it.
How will participants be chosen now?
So in the first instance, people will be asked whether they want to participate in the trial. It is going to be a randomized trial, so we are going to have to go through very stringent criteria, making sure that the people who are putting themselves forward to be able to be part of this study are fit and appropriate for it. For instance, at this stage, we're not going to be putting children and or pregnant women into it. The other area that is of particular interest is whether this is a vaccine that is safe and effective in patients who are living with HIV.
All right, so we'll talk about that. You've got two groups, HIV negative, HIV positive. But firstly, obviously, some are given a placebo, some are given the vaccine. Then do you just look at the overall stats? Or I don't know if this is a simple question, but will you know if those who have been given the vaccine have been exposed to the virus, if it's worked?
Well, firstly, all interventions of this kind of nature need to be tested in a randomized controlled study, which means that a part of the group that is being studied are going to get the vaccine and the other group is not going to get the vaccine. The reason that we need to do so is to make sure that all of the other extraneous factors that can influence the results are balanced. And then the question is to see what numbers of the participants in each one of these groups will get the coronavirus infection and develop COVID. And then if there's a significant difference between the two groups, in other words, if there's going to be a substantially smaller number of people who have been given the active vaccine, then then at least one can come to the conclusion that the vaccine is effective. So this is a question of waiting for people to become infected. We're obviously not going to infect them. That would not obviously be possible.
Yeah.
But they will be infected through normal circumstances, and it is expected that a reasonable number of this group will become infected.
So this trial happening in different parts of the world, will there be a lot of sharing of information? Obviously, the idea is not to, to prevent any harm, to stop the trial if it looks like anyone is in danger.
No, so firstly, all of these trials, and particularly if they're done in this kind of speed, have to be very, very carefully monitored and followed. And therefore, every participant in this trial is going to be carefully monitored. And also, if there are any changes that are noted in other parts of the world, they will be certainly, or that information will be transmitted to us very rapidly. There are already apparently 7,000 individuals in a study in the United Kingdom. We understand that there are going to be a large number being studied in Brazil, and South Africa will be looking at, or in this trial, 2,000 participants in the South African environment will be recruited into the trial.
And obviously in South Africa, HIV is an issue. So just tell us, do you expect a different response if you're HIV positive or negative?
Well, one never really knows, and that's why we are going to be looking at a small group of HIV positive individuals in the first instance. But into the longer term, we're going to obviously be very interested in what happens to HIV-infected individuals, largely because we have a really fairly sizable population of people who are living with HIV in this country, and it will be not only important in terms of what happens to those people, but also that there's an understanding across the world how HIV-infected individuals are going to manage in this environment.
Finally, so I think this is a low dose of COVID-19, or just tell us how the vaccine works and how confident are scientists, are the people in South Africa participating that this could be a breakthrough?
So firstly, I think most of the people involved in the study think that this is going to be a potentially effective candidate. The important aspect is that this is not an infection with the coronavirus. This is using another virus, which has the gene that is responsible for the development of the well-known spikes on the coronavirus. That gene has been transplanted or placed within that virus and is now able to develop antibodies to that spike protein. And it's been demonstrated that people who have antibodies to that the spike protein are able to, in fact, kill the virus, the coronavirus. It's one of the newer techniques of developing vaccines, but the important aspect here is that the virus that is being used doesn't normally cause illness in people.
All right, thank you very much. Fascinating. Professor Martin Veller, who's Dean of the Faculty Health Sciences at Wits University.